So TNA Impact took place once again in Orlando, Florida. The show starts with a tables match. Bully Ray and Jeff Willow versus Robert Roode and Ethan Carter III. Solid match. The match ends with Rockstar Dud rolling down the entranceway in a wheelchair. Willow gives Dud a drop kick that sends his wheelchair backwards into the guardrail. He picks up Dud and carries him to the back. Meanwhile, in the ring, Ethan is laid out on a table and Bully Ray prepares to come down on him. Roode grabs Bully Ray's leg and holds him, allowing Ethan to get off the table. Roode pushes Bully Ray off the top rope, but Bully Ray goes over the table. Ethan holds Bully Ray up as Roode prepares to come off the middle rope. However, Bully Ray mule kicks Ethan in the groin. Then he grabs Roode by the crotch and throws him on top of Ethan. Bully Ray delivers a double clothesline to both men. He throws punches at Roode and does his pseudo Dusty Rhodes routine, finishing with an elbow to the head. Bully Ray gives an elbow to Ethan and sets up the table to powerbomb him through it. Roode hits Bully Ray from behind and picks him up for the fireman's carry cutter, but Bully Ray escapes. Roode pushes him into the ropes and delivers a spine buster through the table. The winners of the match, Robert Roode and Ethan Carter III. After the match, Roode proceeds to put Bully Ray through 2 more tables with Ethan's help. The post-match activity was a good continuation of the build for the inevitable match at Sacrifice. But there is the danger of doing too much as they build. TNA runs the risk of elevating expectations past the point of what they may want to do. How many tables will someone have to be put through to meet those expectations? So then we see Kenny King being driven to the entrance in a cart. He hands the driver some bills and walks up to the pseudo doorman. King wants to know whom he's going to be wrestling, but the pseudo doorman doesn't have him down for anything. King dismisses him and drops more cash before going inside. After seeing Magnus on his way inside saying that everything is cool between him and Abyss, we see Montel Porter doing a show promo when Kenny King enters. Porter tells King that he'll talk with him later, and King leaves. So then we have a straitjacket match. Sam Shaw versus Mr. Anderson. Okay match. Just silly. The match ends with Shaw applying the standing arm triangle choke on Anderson and taking him down to the mat. He starts putting the jacket on Anderson, but Anderson tries to fight back. Shaw reapplies the hold, continues to put the jacket on Anderson, pulls Anderson's arms back and secures the jacket completely. The referee calls for the bell. The winner of the match, Sam Shaw. Christy Hemme is the focal point of this program, so her presence in relation to the storyline has to be there. She didn't need to be at ringside because she should try to stay away from Shaw, but she could still make some type of comment about what's going on. So then we see Angelina Love and Velvet Sky backstage. Angelina is asked about the length of time taken to get back together with Velvet. She says that this has been planned for a long time and that they will be a more dangerous team. Velvet says that it took Angelina to show her that Madison's goal is to be bigger than them. She says that she will never be better and that she will regret not being home with her kid when she faces them later. They say that they don't care who Madison's partner is. What is going on with these outfits? So then we see Eric Young backstage. Young says that he never intended to seek the world title because he was concentrating on Abyss. But he says that he has been with the company long enough to receive the title shot that he feels that he should be getting. So this proves that Young did care about the title shot. So then we have the first match of a best 2 out of 3 for the X Division Championship. Tna defending against Tigre Uno. Before the match starts, Kenny King comes to the ring. King says that he respects the competition in the ring, but he is the X Division. Before King can go on, Montel Porter comes to the ring. Porter wants to know why King is disrupting his program. King tells him that it shouldn't be his show because he's the man. Porter tells him that they can go back to his office to talk, but King says that unless Porter has money and bitches waiting in that office, he's not going anywhere. King tells Porter that he should be the #1 guy on the show, but Porter tells him that there's no space for him because there's no one available. King tells him that he's available, but Porter says that he operates in an administrative role. King says that he wants an quote-unquote exhibition match with Porter, but Porter says no. As King attempts to leave, he throws a shoulder into Porter and demands his match. Porter agrees. This was decent, but it didn't need to delay the match between Tna and Tigre Uno. Both of them just standing there waiting to wrestle looked awkward. So then we finally have the match between Tna and Tigre Uno. Decent match. The match ends with Tna executing a back suplex to Tigre. Tna does a backflip, but Tigre sits up. However, Tna catches him with a dropkick to the back. He goes for the pin, but Tigre gets his shoulder up. Tna whips Tigre across the ring toward the corner, but Tigre reverses the whip. He charges toward the corner and leaps, but Tna moves out of the way. He takes Tigre down to the mat for a rolling cradle and stops for the pin attempt, but Tigre kicks out. Tigre rolls out of the ring, and as Tna comes off the ropes after Tigre's walk around, Tigre comes back into the ring and hits Tna with a spin kick. He charges toward the corner, but Tna sidesteps him. Tigre goes for a springboard splash, but Tna catches him in midair with a dropkick. Tna goes to the top rope for an attempted moonsault, but Tigre hits him from behind, causing Tna to fall to the mat. Tigre attempts a split leg moonsault from the top rope, but Tna gets his knees up. He comes up behind Tigre and executes a belly-to-back double underhook suplex to get the 3. The winner of the match, Tna. He takes a 1-0 lead in the best of 3. Solid action, but the match should have been longer. No, they can't do everything now because there has to be a build toward a concluding third match. But the first match deserved more time. So then we see Brittany walking into Madison Rayne's space backstage. She sits next to Madison and grabs the women's title belt, but Madison quickly takes it back. Brittany tells her that, at the risk of sounding obsessive, she looks up to her because of Madison going from being a bit player to becoming women's champion. Brittany says that she wants to be Madison's partner in the match against the Beautiful People, but Madison says no. Brittany tells her that she needs that single chance to show what she can do. Madison says that since she beat Gail Kim and that they're color coordinated, she decides to give Brittany the shot. So the tinges leading to a possible heel turn for Brittany are already being presented, yet it would be best for her to remain a face because Madison is not getting over as such. So then we see Magnus come to the ring. He tells Abyss to come out, and Abyss is wearing a suit. Magnus runs his mouth and says nothing compelling. Then he tells Abyss that he wants them to start dating, and they hug. Magnus and Abyss leave with Magnus far ahead. Eric Young appears and goes at it with Abyss. Magnus comes back down and makes it a 2-on-1 on Young. The action moves into the ring and the double team continues. Then Samoa Joe comes running down. Magnus bails and Joe quickly dismisses Abyss. Young comes at Joe and tells him that he'll let him know if he wants his assistance. The time that should have been devoted to the Sonata Tigre Uno match was wasted with the previous prelude to Magnus and Abyss getting a hotel room. So then we see Montel Porter and the American Wolves backstage. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards are prepping for their title match against the Glorified Jobbers. Robbie E enters along with Ameti, and he says that the title match isn't happening because Mr. Duh injured himself working out. Ameti hands Porter a medical report on Mr. Duh's injury. Porter says that wrestlers battle with injuries constantly, but Robbie E threatens to sue if Porter puts Mr. Duh in the ring. Richards and Edwards want Porter to do something about it, but Porter says he's helpless. So instead of Porter getting a visual confirmation of Mr. Duh's injury, he decides to scrap the title match based on a piece of paper handed to him. Some power. The American Wolves could have come off more pissed than whiny. So then we see another segment with Mike Knox. Knox meets up with his father. His father needs Knox's help to try to save the family business, and Knox decides to stay and try to do that. That was it. Boring. It's unclear how this is supposed to revamp Knox's character, but it isn't progressing the way that it should. How is all this related to wrestling in terms of what his character is going to do? Forget the family business angle. Focus on that. So then we have the Beautiful People versus Madison Rayne and Brittany. Okay match. Angelina Love and Velvet Sky get the win with the high and low on Brittany, who needs to work on how to sell. Whoever came up with those outfits that Angelina and Velvet wore not only needs to be fired, but that person should never have another fashion-related job again. With these two, Velvet in particular, TNA is supposed to showcase the highlights, not take the attention away from them. What else are they going to do? Brittany took the pin, yes. But the risk is that it puts a cap on her momentum from beating Gail Kim. So then we have Kenny King versus Montel Porter. Decent match, but it's odd to say that because neither man tried to beat the other. Hence the word exhibition. What would have been so wrong with this being a regular match? They end up rolling on the ground and the ref calls for the bell. Lame. So then we see Magnus and Ethan Carter III backstage. Ethan wants to know why Magnus is talking to him, and Magnus wonders why Ethan would say that. Ethan points out that they don't do work together anymore, but Magnus says that doesn't matter because they're still cool with each other. Magnus tells Ethan that he wants him as backup for the title match. Ethan tells him that he didn't do that for him with his situation with Jeff Willow. He tells Magnus that he already has Abyss on his side. That he only wants him as backup because of Abyss's possibility of turning against him. Magnus asks Ethan if he'll back him again. Ethan says, who knows? The segment shows how insecure Magnus is about the union with Abyss, since he's coming at Ethan with all of this. What it does accomplish is that it continues the tension between the two for a possible future title program. So then we see Kenny King backstage talking about his exhibition match with Montel Porter. Porter comes into the shot and the two start brawling. The American Wolves break it up and they remind Porter about allowing anger causing bad decision making. Is Porter getting too physical when he's supposed to be in an executive role? Yes. But the developing program between him and Kenny King is fine for now. So then we have the World Heavyweight Championship. 4-way. Magnus defending against Samoa Joe, Abyss, and Eric Young. Decent match. The match ends with Joe locking in the rear naked choke on Magnus. However, Magnus mule kicks him and whips him to Abyss, who nails him with the black hole slam. Joe rolls out of the ring and Magnus goes after him, sending him into the ring steps. Young hits Abyss with a flurry of punches, but Abyss grabs him by the neck. Young bites his hand and gets out of the grip. He comes off the ropes, but Abyss catches him with the black hole slam. Abyss attempts to pin Magnus, but Magnus talks him out of it. Abyss attempts to pin Young, but Magnus talks him out of it. Magnus tells him to just stand there while he comes off the top rope with the flying elbow drop on Young. He gets the 3. The winner of the match, Magnus. Then we find out that Dixie Carter will return next week. Show ends. We knew this would happen. We knew she was coming back. The soon-to-be drawn-out storyline now enters the second stage. We saw Montel Porter take the power away from Dixie. Now Dixie will attempt to take the power back. It's a storyline concept that's like bitter medicine. We know it sucks, we have to take it, and we'll feel better when it's out of our system. Will it really be out of our system? That depends. Who's holding the spoon? I'm Tasmar 2002, and that's my Tna Impact Analysis for April 3rd, 2014. If you're listening to me on YouTube, please leave your comments below. Click the like or dislike button. And if you subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. If you're listening to me on the Wrestling News Talk Facebook page, you can leave your comments below and click the like button if you like what I've been saying. If you have any questions or comments for me about TNA or wrestling in general, you can reach me on Twitter, Tasmart2002, that's TAZMARK2002. And if your comments exceed the 140, get at me with an email. Tasmar2002@gmail.com. Be sure to watch the TNA Impact review that I do with Chuck P, live every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on Chuck P's YouTube channel. If you can't watch us live, you can always watch the archive. Okay, show. TNA Vice President of Talent Relations and Creative, John Gaburik, recently did an interview conducted by Jeremy Borash. The subject of AJ Styles came up. As part of his response, Gaburik said that Styles could come back to the company, quote, if he has a slot open, unquote. That's something you would say to a young wrestler looking to establish his or her career. You don't say that to the man who was the foundation of your company. It was insulting. Most people don't realize how valuable something is until they no longer have it. It's not about TNA needing styles. It's about respect. Not about whether slots are open. I'm Tazmart 2002. Gone.